Good morning, guys. Today we are going to have science class. And before starting our class, I invite you to pray. Close your eyes and bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you because you have been so merciful with us. Thank you for your protection to us and our families. We ask you for a special help in this class because we are going to learn a new topic. So be with us and let us to learn about nature and what it involves. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Guys, I want you to see this picture of here, and what do you see? Different weather conditions, right? For example, I want you to see what do you see here. For example, in this part, we see a sky that is partly cloudy, right? By here we can see a sky that is very cloudy. And by here we can see a sunny day, right? But what do you see, for example, by here? A stormy day. So, what we are going to learn in this lesson is what is weather. All about weather and how can we predict weather. Well, not we. There are special professionals that study weather and they make the predictions. But we can know how they measure weather and how weather is affected by many factors that we are going to see. So I want you to go to pages 234 and 235 in your science book, Learning Destinations. Remember, 234 and 235. Do you have it? Okay. So, I want you to see this picture of here. And in here you can see a map. And let's read the caption. The caption is this description that is under the picture. And it says, this map shows different weather conditions in a particular region. Circle the areas where you might find clear skies. For example, let's see this area of here. Do you think you are going to have clear skies in here? Look, here we are going to have rain. Here is an electric storm, right? And what about here? Okay, so it said that you have to circle the areas in which you think you will find clear skies. So I want you to circle in this in what area you are going to find clear skies. Now by this side, guys, we have the vocabulary words of this lesson. So I want you to repeat after me. It's very important for you to practice. If you do not practice the pronunciation of the words, you will pronounce them incorrect. So you have to practice. The first one is weather. Weather. Barometric pressure. Barometric pressure. Humidity. Humidity. Circulation. Circulation. Okay, we have only 4 vocabulary words, and right now I want you to see a video. In the video it talks about what we are going to learn in this lesson and also about the vocabulary words. So pay attention to the video.
Look outside. What is the weather like today? Weather is the state of the atmosphere. It can describe things such as temperature, wind speed and direction, air pressure, moisture, and the amount of rain or snow. Scientists called meteorologists study the patterns of weather. One thing they study is barometric pressure. Barometric pressure is the pushing force of the atmosphere. Barometric pressure, or air pressure, is also caused by air temperature. Depending on the temperature, air rises or falls, which increases or decreases the air pressure. Big differences in air pressure cause wind. Wind may blow from different directions, but winds do follow some large-scale patterns over continents and oceans. This is called circulation, the movement of air that redistributes heat on Earth. Another thing that can help determine the weather is the amount of water vapor in the air. This is called humidity. When particles of water vapor come together, they can form small water droplets and ice crystals. Got it? Sure you do.
Okay, guys. I want to ask you, what do we use to measure the temperature of the air? Do you remember in math class, we were talking about an instrument that we can use to measure the temperature of the air? Exactly. We use the thermometer to measure the temperature of the air. But when we talk about weather, we cannot use only a thermometer. We have to use more instruments. And in this lesson, we are going to learn about some instruments that we can use or that people use to measure weather. So I want you to underline in the first paragraph what I'm going to underline right now. Okay, there you have it. Weather is the state of the atmosphere. Later you are going to see what atmosphere is, but in the lessons before I already explained it, but we are going to see it later. So weather is the state of the atmosphere, including what? Temperature, wind speed and direction, air pressure, moisture, amount of rain or snow, and other factors. So when we talk about weather, we talk about the temperature, we talk about the wind speed, we talk about the direction of the wind, the pressure of the air, the moisture, and also the amount of rain that we are going to have. There are some special people that study the weather. Are not teachers, are not doctors. They are scientists that are called how? Can you see here? These kind of scientists are called meteorologists. They study the weather and they also predict how the weather is going to be. Have you ever heard in the television that says the weather for tomorrow is we are going to have a rainy day or a sunny day? How is that possible? Because these people called meteorologists study and predict the weather. So I want you to underline that. Now, what do they do? What do meteorologists do? They collect data from many tools to tell about the weather today and to predict future weather. So they do not use only thermometers. They use other tools to collect data, and in that way they can say, okay, today we are going to have a lot of rain, or today it's going to be very hot, because they collect data. And almost all the data that they use is collected automatically. Why? Because they use instruments that collect the data and they only see the results of those instruments. Now, guys, let me ask you something. Why do you think to know the weather in the future is important for us? Why do you think that predicting the weather it's something very important for for us today. For example, if you are planning to celebrate your birthday in the beach or in a pool, and for example, your birthday is in 3 weeks, how do you know how the weather is going to be? Because imagine that you say, okay, come to a birthday party in my pool or in a pool in a place. So how are you going to know that that day is not going to be raining? So that's why weather prediction is very important, because you can go and see the news, the television, and to see the forecast of the weather, and you are going to see if that day scientists or meteorologists have predicted a sunny day or a rainy day. So that's why knowing what is going to be the weather in the future is important for us, because we can plan the activities that we are going to have, or a match, a football, a soccer match. So you are not going to play a soccer match if it's raining, right? So that's why it's important to know about the prediction of the weather. So guys, in this paragraph, we were talking about what? We were talking about scientists, but especially about not all of kind of scientists, about meteorologists. And we were telling that they collect data to predict weather. And also we were learning in this paragraph that data is collected automatically. So in number 1, it says draw conclusions. Remember that when you are going to draw conclusions, first you have to read the facts. Okay? After reading the facts, you can draw a conclusion or an opinion that you have after reading the facts. So let's read. Use the graphic organizer, that is this one, to draw a conclusion from the text above, from this text. So I want you to tell me 3 facts. Here we have the space for writing 3 facts that we can read from this text. Remember that a fact is something that you can prove, something that you find in a source such as a book, an internet, encyclopedia, a book, I already said book, okay? Or something that you can prove asking to an expert. So what fact can you find in this text? The first fact, that meteorologists study and predict weather. Exactly, that is a fact. Meteorologists predict weather. Why? Why is this a fact? Because the book says, because encyclopedia says also that. It's something that you can prove. Another fact that you can find in the text. Okay, maybe some of you said meteorologists collect data. Okay, so they collect data from many instruments. It's the job that they do. Now, what another fact can we find? What about data? How data is collected? In what way? It's collected automatically. So, after having these facts, look, fact number 1, meteorologists predict weather. Fact number 2, meteorologists collect data. And fact number 3, data can be collected automatically. So in the conclusion, you have to write a conclusion about these facts. After reading these facts, what can you conclude? I'm going to help you a little bit. What can you conclude about data? Do you think collecting data is important for predicting weather or not? Because Meteorologists predict weather, but they cannot predict weather without the data. And data is collected automatically. So what can we say about data? The importance of data for predicting weather. Okay, so write it in here. Now, in number 2, guys, I want you to see this instrument. It has a very weird name that I will tell you the name. It's a rain gauge. Rain gauge. So this instrument is used to measure rain, the amount of rain. When it's raining, this instrument measures, for example, if it was raining by 1 hour, this instrument measures how much water was falling down in that hour. So let's read in here. What, in here is missing the word what. What might be a good place to set up this measuring tool? You already know that this is used to measure the rain. So if you have to put this one in one place to measure the rain, what do you think is the best place to put that instrument? And why? Because it said you have to explain. Okay, tell me the place in which you are going to put this instrument and also why you are going to put it in there. Okay, guys? So after answering this, stop the video and answer this, the conclusion in here and this part. And then we are going to page 236. Page 236. Okay, guys? We are going to learn about barometric pressure now. But before I want you to ask you something. I want to ask you something. When you look up at the sky and the day is very sunny, how is going to be the sky? Blue, right? And clear, like this one that you see here. This background of the page is a sky. So when it's very sunny, you are going to see the sky very clear, almost without clouds. But in some lessons before, I told you that our planet has something that covers the planet. It's like a kind of protection to our planet. What is that? What is the name of that? So if you read by here, you are going to find the answer. I am talking about the atmosphere. The atmosphere, let's suppose that this one is the planet. The atmosphere, it's something that surrounds the earth and covers and protects the earth. So I want you to underline that. There you have it, look. The blanket of air that surrounds earth is its atmosphere. So I want you to see this picture of here. Here we have the earth and the atmosphere is what you see in here. Look, it's like it's air that is covering or protecting, surrounding the earth. That is the atmosphere, like a little layer protecting our planet. Now, guys, I want you to answer me another question. As we are talking about air, do you think air takes up space? ¿Creen que el aire ocupa espacio or not? For example, here I have my pencil case. If I want to put this inside my Bible, do you think this is going to fit in here? No, right? Because I need more space for this. And in here I don't have enough space. So now, if I tell you guys, look at this bag. Do you think I can put this one inside. Maybe perfectly if I do this. Look. Now look my pencil case. It fits perfectly. But what about if I do this? Now tell me, what did I put inside the bag? Air, right? Inside the bag I have air. So if I want to place this bag inside my pencil case, do you think it's going to fit in? No, right? That is because air takes up space and also mass. ¿Ok? El aire ocupa espacio y también contiene masa, se puede pesar. How? Okay. Think about a lot of these ones and put them in a balance. You are going to see that air has mass and also has space. Now I'm going to put the air inside and let's continue. So I want you guys to underline this that is very important about the air. Air has mass and takes up space. I want you to underline this. So remember, air takes up space and also has mass. You can measure it. Now let's continue. In the air, guys, we have a mixture of gases because the air is a gas. And I want you to circle at least 3 gases that we are going to find in the air and also in the atmosphere. Here in the atmosphere, we are going to find 3 kind of gases. Which one are those? So let's see in here. So I want you to underline this. The air is made up of invisible gases. And in the atmosphere, the Earth's atmosphere, we are going to find nitrogen, oxygen, and also carbon dioxide. Nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon dioxide. These are the gases that we are going to find in the atmosphere. Which one of those 3 do you need to live? Do you need nitrogen, oxygen, or carbon dioxide? Oxygen, right? If you do not have oxygen, if you stop breathing, you are going to die. So that is what is important for us to take care of the atmosphere, because the atmosphere contains the oxygen that we need to breathe. Now I want you guys to remember something. Gravity. Here we have it, gravity. What is gravity? I want you to see this pencil. I am holding the pencil. Okay, I'm holding the pencil. What do you think is going to happen if I let this pencil to fall down or drop the pencil like what do you think is going to happen? Do you think if I unhold the pencil, do you think the pencil is going up or down? Down, right? Look. So why? Because of gravity. Gravity is like a force that it's going to attract all the objects to the center of the earth. Okay, to the center of the earth. So gravity also pulls the mass of air that is in the atmosphere toward the earth's surface. For example, let me explain you with this image that I have in here. This is the atmosphere. Okay? So gravity makes that the air comes to the surface of the earth with pressure, with force, because of gravity. Now, the pushing force, that force that gravity makes with the air toward the earth, it's called what? Barometric pressure. The pressure of the air toward the earth. Air of the atmosphere is being pressured toward the earth. So by here, guys, I want you to see another instrument. It's not a compass. It's very alike to a compass, but it's not a compass. This one is a barometer. And this is another instrument that we are going to use to measure weather. Look, we already have two instruments. The first one was this one, the rain gauge. And now we have a barometer. A barometer is an instrument that shows air pressure, the pressure of the air coming to the surface of the earth. So scientists use this instrument to measure air pressure, la presión del aire, air pressure. Now, guys, I want you to see here air pressure, to see, to read, and also to underline. Air pressure decreases as you go higher in the atmosphere. What does it mean? That the higher you are going to have less oxygen. Did you listen that? The higher you go, you are going to have less oxygen. Okay? So this is very important for you to underline. Have you ever seen, guys, I want you to see this picture. Have you ever watched movies in which people are traveling in an airplane, but an accident or something happens in the airplane, and immediately some mask fell down from the roof of the airplane, and people have to use that mask. Why? It's because as they are very high, they are flying very high from the earth, they need oxygen. Generally, if everything is going well, you are not going to need the oxygen because the airplane has oxygen. But if the oxygen of the airplane is not stable, or something happens that is not working well, that's why they have extra oxygen with the masks for people to use, to breathe. That is because of this that we have in here in the text. As they are very high in the atmosphere, they do not have oxygen, they cannot breathe. Another case is, for example, I want you to see this. Look. I want you to see this. This is the Earth surface. Okay? Here we are in the Earth's surface. En lo más bajo plano de la Tierra. So, if you go up 1 kilometer, looking here, these blue balls that you have in here, blue bubbles that you have in here, represents the oxygen. Do you have oxygen in here? Yes, right? So if you are climbing or walking in a mountain and you are going up and you go up 1 kilometer, no problem, you are going to have enough oxygen. 2 kilometers, you are going to have oxygen. 3 kilometers, also a little bit less of oxygen. 4 kilometers, look, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 kilometers, look, the airplane. Here you are not going to have enough oxygen for you to breathe. That's why in the airplanes they have to use a special system that inside the airplane they have that the airplane is with oxygen, but if something is not working well, they have to use the masks. Now look, higher and higher and higher, 12 kilometers higher, you are not going to have or you are not going to be able to breathe. So when people are hiking, climbing a mountain, they have to be with very well physical condition or health, because they need to be able to breathe even though they are not going to have enough oxygen. Mount Everest, have you ever heard about Mount Everest? The Mount Everest is a mountain that is the highest mountain of the world. But people that goes to or wants to hike or climb the Mount Everest, they have to be training a lot of time before, because their lungs have to be very strong enough to do that, because it's dangerous. Even though some people use oxygen, tanks of oxygen when they go there, because as it's very high, people in the top of the mountain are not going to have enough oxygen. So I want you to read number 3, and it says, suppose you take the 2 readings from a barometer. Okay, suppose that you use a barometer, and the readings is what the barometer says in here. One reading is taken at the top of a tall building. Okay, you go to a building very high, to the last floor of the building, and you use a barometer to measure the pressure of the air. Okay, the first reading of the barometer is very high in the building. Now you go downstairs, and then it says at ground level, you take the other reading at ground level, and it says which reading is likely to be higher. In what place do you think is going to be more air pressure? In the first floor of the building, that is at ground level, or in the last floor of the building, very high? Where do you think you are going to have more or the highest air pressure? In the high floor or in the first floor? Think about and read this for you to be able to answer. This is very important. This that I have here is very important for you to answer this question. Now guys, let's go to this page 237. This is the last one that we are going to see today. We are going to finish this lesson the other week, okay? So in here we are going to talk about temperature. And the 2 important details that I want you to underline about temperature is this. Air temperature also affects weather. How is that? For example, if the temperature of the air is hot, how is going to be the weather? Hot, right? So, for example, when the sun hits the surface of the air and it's very hot, the air that is in the surface, very near to the surface of the earth, is going to be warm, okay, or hot. Now, guys, I also want you to underline this. The temperature of the air also affects the types of precipitation. So it depends on the temperature of the air if we are going to have rain or snow or sleet. But I'm going to explain you this in the other lesson, in the other part of the lesson next week. So answer number 4, it's about this balloon that you have in here. Analyze what you read in this paragraph for you to be able to answer this number 4. And this part of here, do the math, is bonus points, okay? So if you want the bonus points, do it. If not, pues, so don't worry. So, and guys, this is all for today in science. Don't finish the lesson because we are going to continue next week with the same lesson with the other part. So blessings, have a nice day.